In 2010, the Philips CEO proudly stated to the media that they were no longer a high-tech company, despite being a former electronics giant and innovator, and once the third largest electronics company in the world with over 350,000 employees. The statement was intentional and true. Philips, a company that once dominated various industries including lighting and physical media formats such as the compact cassette, CD, DVD, and Blu-ray, also played a significant role in the semiconductor industry, giving rise to companies like ASML and Taiwan's TSMC. Despite its decline in the 2010s, Philips still appears to be an electronics giant from an outsider's perspective. Various Philips products, including Hue lights, vacuum cleaners, electric razors, TVs, monitors, DVD players, loudspeakers, radios, and coffee machines, continue to be widely used, and recognized. Philips' strength in the electronics industry is an illusion, as they no longer manufacture most of their products and have sold their businesses to Asian competitors, who have been granted the right to use the Philips brand. Today, Philips' consumer-facing product lines are limited to razors and oral hygiene products, which account for a mere 15% of its business. Its current size is less than 1/10 that of Samsung, and the company officially dropped electronics from its name in 2013. With past failures in the semiconductor industry and other blunders, the statement that Philips is no longer a high-tech company seems fittingly accurate. Decades of mismanagement and failed innovation have made Europe's last electronics giant, Philips, somewhat irrelevant. 246. Philips, founded by the Philips family in 1891, has developed 5 significant business units over its 130-year history, each leaving a lasting legacy. Philips' first business unit, as indicated by its logo, was lighting, where the company started by producing items such as light bulbs. Philips climbed the top of the lighting market by employing a combination of quality products, effective marketing, and aggressive business practices. In 1925, Philips joined the infamous Phubus cartel with competitors such as General Electric and Osram, agreeing to artificially increase prices and limit the useful lifespan of light bulbs to a maximum of 1,000 hours. The cartel dissolved around the time of World War II, and Philips continued to grow and eventually became the largest producer of lighting products worldwide. The rise of LED technology disrupted the industry in the 2000s, leading to the spin-off of Philips' entire lighting division into an independent company for greater profitability. In 2016, Philips spun off its lighting division into a new independent company called Signify. This practice of spinning off struggling business units is not uncommon for Philips. Since its independence, Signify has significantly outperformed its parent company, finding major success in connected lights and the Internet of Things. Philips used the profits from their successful light bulb business in 1914 to establish the Philips Physics Laboratory, a dedicated research organization similar to Xerox's PRC or AT and T's Bell Laboratories. With thousands of top scientists and great funding, along with occasional visits by Albert Einstein, they made significant scientific breakthroughs, including advancements in radio technology. Philips' second successful product category was in the field of radio technology, which is symbolized by the waves in its logo. They developed groundbreaking scientific breakthroughs and patented new transmitters that could carry radio waves around the world. In 1927, Philips launched its own radio station, connecting the Netherlands to its colonies across the world. The company also became the world's largest supplier of radios just 3 years later. Philips diversified into new product categories, leveraging their radio business, and introduced the compact cassette, which became the preferred physical media format for music and speech, and complemented their existing business successfully. Philips' development of the compact cassette was a game changer in the music industry, and they were not only manufacturing cassette players and cassettes, but also receiving license payments from other manufacturers, which kick-started the modern mass music industry. But Philips began to face challenges in innovation. Philips invented the CD, but hesitated to commercialize it, allowing Sony to catch up and share the format. Philips' role in subsequent formats like DVD and Blu-ray was smaller, and they fell behind in innovation due to slow decision-making and betting on the wrong technologies. For example, Philips failed to successfully introduce several formats, such as Video 2000 and CDI, and they lost $1 billion in the process. Furthermore, they were unable to adapt to changing media consumption trends, such as the rise of iPods and music streaming. In the long run, Philips struggled to keep up with the rapidly evolving technology industry. Philips' consumer electronics division grew from the success of their audiovisual business, and they adopted a conglomerate model to compete with their Japanese rivals, building a vast portfolio of products instead of focusing on any one thing. Philips' expansion didn't work out well in the end. They succeeded in creating profitable product lines in some categories, like shavers, thanks to their unique inventions. But in most categories, they were just one of many competing brands. Philips made notable efforts to succeed in various industries, taking risks and investing in innovation. Nonetheless, many of their attempts were unsuccessful, such as their incompatible computer line and unsuccessful web TVs. They also had a vision for people to browse the internet and use email from their TVs through a simplified interface. But this idea didn't take off either. Additionally, their innovative cell phone lineup, including a prototype that turned a regular cell phone into a quasi-touchscreen smartphone with one of the first ever 2G connections, didn't find much success. Philips struggled to sell their phones, leading to costly mistakes. The company appeared to focus more on solving technical problems than meeting consumer expectations. The margins of nearly every commodity electronics product were driven close to zero due to relentless competition, mainly from Asia. Philips produced a wide range of innovative products, but failed to generate profits for the company by the late 80s. Out of the $137 billion in electronics revenue, Philips only managed to keep $3.7 billion, resulting in a 2.7% margin over a decade. Philips' margin of 2.7% over a decade from their electronics business was significantly lower than the margins of Sony and Samsung, which typically range from 10% to 20%. Philips decided to abandon electronics and risky innovations after multiple failures, ultimately leading them to offload all of their electronics businesses. In 2001, they shut down their research lab. In 2012, they sold their TV and monitor business to TP Vision, a Hong Kong-based company. After a year, they sold their audiovisual business to Funai, a Japanese company. Recently, in 2021, Philips sold its domestic appliances division, which included vacuum cleaners and coffee machines. Philips has left the electronics industry, including semiconductors, where they were once a major player. Despite being a pioneer in the field, the company faced numerous issues in the 80s and 90s, such as failed bets on SRAM memory technology, poor management, and a challenging market. As a result, Philips sold off its entire semiconductor business in 2006, which is now known as NXP. NXP specializes in designing and manufacturing specialized chips for cars and industrial applications. Without its parent company's poor decision-making, NXP became a more successful company and overtook its former parent. Currently, NXP is worth about 4 times as much as Philips and is more profitable. However, more astonishingly, Philips kickstarted both of the world's 2 most important semiconductor companies today. Now, ASML is the only company capable of making the most critical machines for chip production and is worth $266 billion, about 15 times as much as Philips. As Europe's most valuable technology company, ASML was kickstarted by Philips and ASM in 1984. Philips had a strong position in the lighting and semiconductor industries, making it well-positioned to compete in the field of lithography. However, due to a longer-than-expected development and a rough market, the founding companies gave up on the venture and sold it off after 4 years of operation. This was part of Philips' 5th major restructuring in those 2 decades. The semiconductor industry can be chaotic. As for TSMC, they are currently the world's 2nd most valuable chip company and dominate the manufacturing side of the industry. TSMC had a rough start, struggling to find investors initially, and Philips was the only private company willing to take a chance on them. In 1986, Philips helped TSMC get off the ground with funding, key technologies, and access to ASML in exchange for a 27.5% share in the new venture. The stake that Philips had in TSMC would be worth $121 billion today, which is about 7 times as much as all that remains of Philips combined. However, just like with ASML and NXP, Phillips sold its shares early and exited its position. Phillips was important in the early days of the semiconductor industry, incubating 3 major chip companies, but failed to capture much of the value it created, which is a source of frustration. Its last major business unit was healthcare tech, which it entered relatively late and found success in imaging equipment such as MRI and CT machines in the 2000s. Phillips found a steady growth in the healthcare tech industry due to an aging population, with safety and reliability being a concern. This industry has heavy regulatory protections, less competition, and is less cyclical than semiconductors and consumer electronics. Despite being a smaller business compared to its past endeavors, Phillips found comfort in the healthcare tech industry due to its favorable conditions. It has shifted its focus entirely to healthcare technology, but its performance in this field has been mediocre with recent recalls. While this shift gives them a clear focus, new trends in the industry like telemedicine and AI diagnosis threaten to shake things up. The company's comfortable position in the industry may not be safe forever. It's unclear if Phillips' significant investment in R&D will be enough to keep up with potential changes in the healthcare industry. They've overslept similar changes in the past in industries such as music, semiconductors, and electronics. Phillips had everything but lost it all. Despite introducing innovative products, the company failed to build successful and defensible electronics products like the iPhone or PlayStation. It also failed to establish a profitable chip business and adapt to changing consumer preferences, resulting in tragic collapses.